I arrived at the wellness retreat with a heavy heart. My marriage was in shambles, and I desperately needed some time away to reflect and heal. The peaceful surroundings and promising program gave me hope that maybe, just maybe, I could find some clarity here. As I settled into my room and explored the grounds, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. This place was meant for couples, not lonely souls like me. Everywhere I looked, there were reminders of love and togetherness. My mind drifted back to my husband. We had been so happy once. When we first got married, everything felt perfect. But over the years, the cracks began to show. Our communication broke down, our intimacy faded away, and the resentment built up until it was unbearable. Tears filled my eyes as I thought about how far we had fallen. I wanted so badly for things to go back to the way they were. But deep down, I knew that might not be possible. That evening, there was a group session led by one of the therapists. As we sat in a circle and shared our reasons for being here, I listened intently to everyone's struggles and felt a sense of camaraderie among us all. The therapist leading the session was named Jake. He had a calming presence that made it easy to open up and share our deepest pains. His words were like balm on my wounded soul as he offered guidance and support. After the session ended, Jake approached me with a kind smile on his face. "Would you like to talk more?" he asked gently. I nodded gratefully as he led me to a quiet corner of the room. "I can tell you're carrying a heavy burden," he said softly. "Is there anything specific you'd like to work on during your time here?" I took a deep breath before answering honestly. "My marriage is falling apart. I don't know if there's anything left to save." Jake's eyes filled with empathy as he listened intently. He didn't offer any quick fixes or empty promises, but his presence alone made me feel seen and understood. "I can see that you're in a lot of pain," he said gently. "It's going to take time and effort to heal, but I believe it's possible. Sometimes, all we need is a fresh perspective to help us see the way forward." His words resonated deeply with me, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a glimmer of hope. Over the next few days, Jake and I spent a lot of time together. We had one-on-one therapy sessions where we delved deeper into my struggles and worked on finding new ways to communicate with my husband. There was an undeniable connection between us that went beyond the therapist-client relationship. The way he looked at me, really saw me, made my heart race in a way I hadn't felt in years. One evening, after another intense therapy session, Jake asked if I wanted to take a walk with him. As we strolled through the gardens hand in hand, I couldn't help but feel like I was crossing some invisible line. "I want to show you something," Jake said, leading me towards a secluded spot by the lake. As we sat down together on a bench overlooking the water, he turned towards me and took both of my hands in his. "Being here with you these past few days has been incredibly meaningful for me," he said earnestly. "I feel a deep connection between us, one that goes beyond our professional roles." My heart pounded in my chest as I looked into his soulful brown eyes. "I feel it too," I admitted softly. Without saying another word, Jake leaned in and kissed me gently on the lips. It was like an electric shock ran through my body, awakening a part of me that had long been dormant. In that moment, all the pain and uncertainty I had been carrying melted away. It felt like the beginning of something new, a second chance at love and happiness. The rest of the retreat was a blur of stolen moments and passionate encounters. We couldn't keep our hands off each other. exploring each other's bodies, as if we were starved for touch. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. Jake knew exactly how to make me feel desired and cherished, filling the void that had been growing inside me for so long. As my time at the retreat came to an end, I faced a difficult choice: go back to my husband and try to salvage what was left of our marriage, or give in to this newfound connection with Jake. In the end, I chose myself. I realized that staying in a loveless marriage would only lead to more pain and resentment. It was time for me to let go and embrace the unknown. Leaving the retreat was bittersweet. Saying goodbye to Jake was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But it also felt like closure, a final chapter in my old life. As I drove away from those familiar surroundings, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement bubbling up inside me. For the first time in years, I felt truly alive, ready to embrace whatever the future held.